Hi, today I'm going to show you how you can create a dynamic rendered list in Wized and Webflow with multiple layouts in it. So you don't have to have the same content type throughout each list item. You can have multiple content types like an accordion for the first item and just like a normal notification for the second item, and the third item is again an accordion, and the fourth item is an accordion as well. And as you can see by the customer messages, it even supports dynamic content as well. So you have a dynamic rendered list, but you have different types to display different kinds of data. So I'm going to show you how to do that. It is super simple, and all you need is only 2 actions. Or 3, because you still need to render the list. So let's go to Webflow, because this is where the magic is going on. Normally, you would render a list based on this item. This would be your template item. This is what would render the list. But now in this case, this is only a sub item. So let's get one step back. So we have the render list item, the item that will be used to render each iteration of the list. This will be the wrapper around both possible item layouts. So in our case, we want to have a notification and an accordion. So we will put those both possibilities in an empty div block. Or now it's not empty because 2 items are in there, but we will put them into a div block called list item, and we also apply Wized cloak on there as well. Again, you don't need to do Wized cloak true. I just started doing that and now I'm doing it. It doesn't add any relevancy in there. So yeah, so we have the rendered list item, the dynamic list item, and this will contain both sub items. But this item you see right here containing both is what will be rendered as each iteration of the list. Now within the iteration of the list, we have the sub items. So we have the first, which is just the sale batch. So we have a Wized attribute of new sale sub item applied to that. And we're going to use this to set a visibility condition in Wized for the iteration it is in. And we have the same principle for the different layout item, which is an accordion. So we apply the Wized attribute of accordion sub item on there. So we're going to do the same principle for this as well, where we're going to see if the content type of this iteration is an accordion. And if it is matching with an accordion, we will set the visibility of the accordion to true and set the visibility of the other item, the sale batch in this case, to false. Yeah, so this is all the rocket science you need to know. And then, of course, we just set the heading using Wized attributes. But, actually, we're not setting the heading because we're using an, ignore that, my mistake. We're not setting the heading because we don't need to set it in this case because we already have 2 different items and we set the visibility. So you could add some more attributes in there if you want to reference to a customer name, but we have a Wized attribute in here for the buyer question, just to make sure that we can show the question that the customer is asking. Perfect. So let's go back to Wized and let's just refresh everything. And just let me show you how we're going to receive the data here from our backend. So we have the first iteration, and we have the event type of customer message. The event type of customer message will carry the content of the customer message, the question, and their email. And then we have the second iteration, a second record, which will be customer payment. This will mark a payment, and we have an object with the payment amount in there. So those are 2 different kinds of objects, 2 different formats, and we're going to render them as one list, but thanks to this event type here, we're going to apply a different, complete different HTML layout, either as an accordion or just as a normal notification bar on it. So what we're going to do is when we get the data in Wized here, so let's just make sure everything is refreshed, we see we have customer message for 0, and for 1 we have customer payment. So now we're going to use the iteration using our v-iterator, meaning the counter that will count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blah, 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 blah. And we're going to take this iterator and first of all apply it to the list. So when we're going to render a list, and we're going to render the list for the wrapper, we're not going to render the list on the item, we're going to render the list on the complete wrapper containing both possible sub-items. This is the list item. This is this one containing both. This is Wized list item. We're going to render this on the list item, not the sub-item, the list item. So we're going to render the list from this array that we're getting back, this one in here. And we're going to apply the v-iterator on there. This is the counter that will count up. And then we have this list rendered. So now we need to set visibility. So we're going to reference back to this list, and we're going to reference back to this list in here, this one. We're going to apply the v-iterator. What the v-iterator does, think of it like this. It will loop through the whole list and say, okay, actually, the first one, this condition is true. For the second one, same question, but in this case, it's not true. And for the third one, again, it's not true again. But the fourth one this time is true. So the iterator will iterate over it, and it will say, yeah, this one good, this one nah. This one good, this one And this is what that is doing. And we're using dot notation here to get the event type. So what the dot notation is doing, if I were to return that, I'm just getting a string with this identifier. Here we see event type customer message. This is what I'm going to get returned. If I were to change this now to 1, I would get event type customer payment. So this is what the iterator is doing. And now we're going to look if it equals. So if this is exactly a string containing the wording customer message, which in this case it is. So it will show a true. Like this. Perfect. And this is where you're going to apply this on the first sub-item, which in this case will be the accordion. Since the first one is an accordion indeed, as you can see, the first item is customer message, which is the fallback for accordion. And since this is true, the first list item we're going to render from this list will show up as an accordion. Now we need to also set for the first item the visibility for the sale item, which for the first one is false because it is already an accordion. It is already a customer message, so it cannot be a customer payment. So what we're going to do here is we're going to apply this as the new sale sub item. You don't see this because the visibility is already hidden. This is this one in here, new sale sub item. And actually, if I were to cut this out real quick, and if I were to put in true in here, like this, you will see that we actually have this in the block. So you see this thing right now in this X-ray mode, in the blue outline, you will see it actually contains the first item. It has the valid content for the customer question because it is a customer question and we can load the content from the iteration, right? From the object. But it doesn't have any value for the price added because it is not a price item, right? But if it is a price item, which the second one is a price item, we know that it will have the price added to it. But in this case, it will not have that data available. So we want to hide that because the first item here is not a sale. It is a customer message. So now we need to set the visibility. We need to look, again, the same principle. If r.marketEvents.data, this is this array we're getting from Xano, we apply the v-iterator on there. We apply the v-iterator on there so we can iterate over it. We get the current value we're looking at. We use dot notation to get the event string. This will be this one, customer payment. Actually, no. This will be customer message in this case. So if the first one, which right now is customer message, equals customer payment, which is not true, it will set the visibility to, if it is true, to visibility true, and if it is false to visibility false. So we're going to see we get visibility false. So that way, we only get for the first iteration in here, you can see this referenced by the blue line. This represents the first iteration. We're only going to show the accordion because it is an accordion item. We have content available for this accordion based on the index we provide. We don't have content available for the sign because we provide a different index. It's a customer message and not a customer payment. The second item is a customer payment. Therefore, the condition to show the customer payment batch, the sale amount, this one you see right now, is being visible, and you can see content in this price here as well. Oh, you can see content in this price here as well. And because it is not an accordion and not a customer message, you will not see any accordion in the second iteration. But you see one in the third and the fourth because they are both customer messages. And as you can see, each customer message here is a dynamic item and is a different message because it is within the same dynamic rendered list. And all this data here comes from one database containing multiple objects to save another database that will just make things more complicated. So this is a wonderful way how you can display different kinds of data that you're getting from only one API call in different layouts that is still related, because customer questions and sales are more than likely related in every marketplace dashboard, at least in the notifications tab. And this is a wonderful way to incorporate different functionalities for different list item types within the same list. So I hope that this really helps you, and I hope that you're going to build amazing marketplaces and whatever you want to do with this in Wized. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I'm always super excited to help. And also, again, thank you so much for all your wonderful comments and for all your feedback and for all your support. I really appreciate that. And you cannot imagine how happy and how grateful I am for each and every one of you watching my videos and learning some new things from it. I really appreciate that. And thank you so much and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.